everyone, and welcome back to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. This is your host, Maheen, bringing you fresh perspectives and inspiring stories from the heart of Canada's entrepreneurial community. Today's dialogue centers around the transformative power of branding, the essence of mentorship, and the impactful journey of entrepreneurship. In today's spotlight, we have the illustrious Parveen Dhupar, a beacon of branding and entrepreneurship. And as a founder of BTI Brand Innovations, Inc., Parveen has been at the forefront of marketing and brand strategy for over 3 decades. His journey is one of curiosity, creativity, and collaboration, deeply rooted in community service and empowerment. Parveen's leadership has not only scaled businesses, but has also ignited the path for underrepresented entrepreneurs through initiatives like the Voice Grant program. As we delve into his story, be prepared to uncover the essence of building brands that resonate and lead with purpose. Good afternoon, Parveen, and welcome to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. How are you today?
I am fantastic. Thank you for having me here today.
Very pleased to have you with us this afternoon. And Parveen, your multifaceted journey from envisioning captivating brand strategies to mentoring next generation, it really captures the spirits of true leadership. And we're all about to kind of breaking it down for our audience and learning from your experiences. Before we delve into the heart of today's discussion with Parveen Dhupar, I want to pause and reach out to you, our dedicated listeners. Imagine the courage it takes to start a journey with a vision so bold that it not only changes your life, but touches the lives of those around you. So as we unfold Parveen's story, let it be a mirror reflecting your potential and the dreams you're chasing. Friends, let's open our minds to the lessons of perseverance and creativity that are about to come alive. Let's begin our discussion with the genesis of entrepreneurship, right? I mean, every entrepreneur's journey starts with a spark, which can be an idea, a vision, or just a moment of inspiration. Parveen, could you take us back to the inspiration or to the beginning? Like, what inspired you to enter the world of branding and start BTI Brand Innovations, Inc.?
That's a loaded question. So let's start. What got me into the world of branding? Ever since I was a little boy, I was always sitting there with a sketch pad in hand, just drawing everybody. My parents would be sitting there watching TV and I'd be drawing. So art was always something that was inside of me and it just needed to come out. So as I got older and I was in high school, I just delved more deeper into the arts and got more involved with photography and even computers. I think like Apple came out at that time and I just, and the school had a Mac and I brought it home and learned how to use it. And so, it's just, I was always into it. I processed my own film. So art was always there for me. And as I got older and went into college, I went to Humber College and did packaging and graphic design. And on the very first day, I was really inspired by a speech that our instructor gave at that day. It was about Don Watt. So Don Watt is the person who is responsible for President's Choice brand, the whole, the yellow brand, the no-name brand. And she just shared something that really hit me hard. And it was about every time Don Watt lifts up a pen, that's $10,000.
Wow.
And I was going, wow. Now I was driven. I said, I'm going to be the next Don Watt.
Yeah.
Right. And I really wanted to just go out there and start my own agency. And right away I did that. Right. And then as I got older and as I actually, was in that program, I would spend hours at the grocery store and I would just walk in an aisle and I would stare at packaging and I would just really analyze it and look at, the colors, the fonts and everything about it. And it just really, really resonated with me. Packaging is very powerful. It is, if you can design a package, you can design anything is what I always say, right? The power of advertising is to bring you in store, but a package can convince you otherwise.
No, we love the inspiration and motivation behind you finding your choice of path. But Parveen, as reflecting on your initial days, what was a pivotal moment that really shaped the direction of your company?
Yeah, great question. So, I kind of shared how I got into it, and I was always unemployable. I was always an entrepreneur. And 99, when my second son was born, this sort of light bulb went off, and I said to myself that I didn't want to be that entrepreneur that looked back 25 years from that moment and say I wasn't involved in my kids' lives.
Right.
Right. And that really shaped what BTI is today.
Mm-hmm.
I exited my existing business. I sold it to my partners that I had at the time. And I built this business with that mindset of family first. I just didn't want to be always working 16, 17-hour days. Um, just really wanted to spend time with the family. So BTI initially, when it was born in 99, late 99, it was called Bite This Inc., Bite
Okay.
with a Y,
Mm-hmm.
right? And because technology was a big thing, and we wanted to be known as that agency that did total brand management. So
Right.
that's sort of what I sort of said, right? So that's what got me started. And fortunately, I built a great team, a team that's been with me since the beginning. I've built a really strong culture, and everyone's very passionate. So I have a very strong team of 8 players.
Wow. No,
Yeah.
your origin stories is a truly testament of power and vision in this entrepreneurial landscape. And I know that initially in the intro I mentioned that the voice program, the voice grant program, which is a
hmm
beacon for hope for many underrepresented entrepreneurs out there. And we'd love to dive deeper because it can be very resourceful for our listeners. Um, Parveen, what drove you to create the voice grant program, and how does it really align with your personal and professional values?
Yeah. So the voice grant, entrepreneurs are the backbone of our economy. We
Hmm.
we drive everything, and being an entrepreneur who is underrepresented, who is a minority, I never really saw myself that way, right? I was so driven that I never let anything hold me back. But I know that not everyone is like me. There are other entrepreneurs that are very challenged, that don't always have those opportunities. So the Voice Grant came into existence because I wanted to give back to these entrepreneurs of the BIPOC community, right? So, a person of color, uh, Black, Indigenous, LGBTQ, the female entrepreneur, the young entrepreneur, and just help them get started,
Hmm.
right? So it really just aligns to who I am. And it actually came out of my learnings through being involved in a peer-to-peer group called EO,
Okay.
Entrepreneurs Organization. So it's a global organization. It's where we learn from each other. There's about 20,000 members globally, 100 and over 200 chapters, and I happen to be part of the Toronto chapter, and I serve globally and regionally as well with them. But my learnings through there was that EO is an environment that's it's for all entrepreneurs. But when I looked around the room, I didn't always see entrepreneurs of different diverse cultures.
Hmm.
So within it, I figured, I have a platform as an entrepreneur, as a leading entrepreneur. I'm going to do something about it. So I've been championing an initiative called One World,
Okay.
where it's bringing underrepresented entrepreneurs together and getting them to learn from each other. And then hopefully we can grow and have more underrepresented entrepreneurs in there. And that kind of led me to thinking about how can I do this within BTI and give back with my superpower, and that being branding. Now, this leads me to kind of explain what is the Voice Grant. So the Voice Grant was created to provide marketing support to underrepresented entrepreneurs that would fit into the BIPOC space, LGBTQ, female entrepreneurs, those that are under 25, young entrepreneurs, and give them funding for up to $25,000, where they can use that funding to do strategy, to do branding, to do campaigns, wherever they think there's a fit, because they may already have a brand.
Hmm.
And preferably they've had some funding, because this isn't just for anybody. Everyone's got ideas. This is for someone who's really serious about their business, and they really want to see this make an impact, and really believe in what they're trying to do. So they can apply for it. The program, they can apply for it, and we're giving this to 10 entrepreneurs each year.
And we love that. I mean, the program's goals it kind of makes a very profound impact in terms of giving back to the community and empowering others to achieve their dreams. In the wake of hearing about the Voice Grant program, it's a moment to reflect on the power of support and community. For all the entrepreneurs and dreamers tuning in, consider this. What could we achieve if we all lent a helping hand to someone just starting their journey? Praveen's initiative reminds us that together we can create waves of change. Now, in terms of building and growing BTI, over the past 25 years, BTI has evolved into a powerhouse of marketing and branding innovation. Parveen, how have you managed to grow and sustain BTI in the competitive landscape of branding and marketing?
Wow, great question. Um, I think everything starts with having a really strong team, right? If you build a strong team, you empower them to take ownership and take that leadership, take that initiative. Uh, it goes a long way, right? So I think by having those strong A players, ensuring that you're even creating opportunities for them to continuously to learn. So I actually allow my team to dock it up to 10 hours a week of their time
Mm-hmm.
to learning, right? Spending time in advancing their own knowledge in areas that are going to help them do their job better, or even areas that are of interest to them. Like someone might be a designer and says, you know what, I really want to learn about web. I've been doing a lot of print. I go, it's fine. Spend some time doing that. And we'll challenge you with something that is light and we'll see what you can do with it.
Right.
Right. So keeping them engaged and keeping them empowered and giving them those opportunities to continue to learn has kept us on the leading edge. Like AI is a big thing now, right? So even with AI, I made sure about a year and a half ago, even before now, it's like the talk everywhere. We've become the leaders when it comes to using AI tools.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because they had those opportunities early on to learn. And now they are, that team that I have is very strong at it.
Oh, it's great. Like the growth of BTI just does not really is connected to the strategic acumen, but also contributes greatly to the human connections and brand the power of branding as well. But if we can kind of reflect on the insights that you've shared, Parveen, with us, can you share a particular project that really stands out to you in BTI's portfolio?
Um, so we actually have three types of client partners. I don't call them clients, by the way. They're partners, right?
Okay.
We build relationships. We're not in a transaction business. And we have three areas of focus. One is obviously big corp, which I say pays the bills. Uh, and they come to us with real brand standards already in place. So it's a lot more about solving a problem around a campaign or a product launch. So it doesn't give us a lot of major creative flexibility. Then we have areas of service around not-for-profit, which lives up to our values of giving back to community. And then the other area is a startup space. So I'm going to share one in each. So when it comes to big corp, Whirlpool Canada, world's largest manufacturer of appliances. We started something with them about 18 years ago that has now become one of their largest marketing spends, and it's a road show. We do a training event for them all across Canada where we bring in the retail sales associates and we wine and dine them. We put on a great show for them and we break them up into groups and they go into three different rooms and get key takeaways on new innovations, come back, bring them together. We, do a recap of all the takeaways and then give them prizes and off they go.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a fantastic way of building brand ambassadors with those retail sales associates on the floors who are actually talking to the customers, uh, and they're seeing the results because right after the event, they'll see the innovations that we've trained on. There's a lift in the sales in those products, right? Because of that spend there and that 1 year that we did it, it's been happening continuously every year, right? So that's the one area. Then I would say cannabis has been a big thing. So
Mm-hmm.
now we're talking about startup space. 3 years ago, when the brands were just starting to come out, we were fortunate when COVID hit that most of our brands were not actually doing a lot of work, but we landed a cannabis account, and we branded them. We did a lot of work with them. And through that, we actually even started a sales agency. Like
Right.
we weren't in sales, but
Mm-hmm.
we, being the problem solvers that we are, we went out and we built a team and we actually called on retail stores, did merchandising, did training, and that became a big thing. So and that brand became the number one brand in the category, and this brand is Redican. So Redican grew and then got acquired for 925 million. It's one of the best success stories in that space in Canada. And it was a private company, not even a public company, acquired by a public company. And they retained us too, the public company. Yeah. So now, as far as the not-for-profits is concerned, so I explained from a large corp perspective and a startup perspective, and then from a not-for-profit perspective, something we're really proud of is there's an organization locally called Indus, Indus Community Services. So Indus used to be called India Rainbow Community Services Appeal, a long descriptor. And over time, it has evolved. It's no longer that social club for elderly men of the Indian heritage, which is what it was when it started off 30 plus years ago, right? It's evolved into providing mental health support, elder programs, newcomer programs. So, and it's for everybody. It's not just for those of the Indian descent. So we went in there, we rebranded them, we came up with a new name. The new name being Indus Community Services, and so we dropped Peel, we dropped Rainbow, we dropped India, but we kept a little bit of that thinking of India within Indus. Indus Indus is the Indus River, where all civilization came from. So it's a very powerful name. So we're really proud of that too, and seeing how they've grown now too. They have well over 100 employees. They have multiple locations. Peel no longer limits them now. So, we give back a lot to not-for-profit within the local community. And that's just one example of one of those organizations.
That's such a remarkable story for sure. Thank you for tuning in to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. We're going to take a quick break to catch our breath. Stay with us, and we'll be right back with more insights and stories from the heart of small business.
You dreamt big. You made the leap. You and your "we're not stopping at small" business. Doesn't matter you've never done it before. You unlock those problems. You adapt to change. You learn to evolve. You're pioneers in challenging times, finding your own frontiers. Wherever you e-commerce, UPS is with you. So nothing is going to hold you back.
Nope.
Constant Contact delivers the marketing tools your small business needs to keep up, excel, and grow. Constant Contact, helping the small stand tall.
Welcome back to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. We hope you're as excited as we are ready to dive back into today's topic. Let's continue our journey into the inspiring world of small business, full of innovation and passion. That kind of tells us that, beyond your achievements with BTI, you've really dedicated yourself into mentoring and uplifting others. Parveen, how has this mentorship and coaching really enriched your journey, and why do you place such strong emphasis on it?
Well, I feel like we all go through different phases in our life. I'm at a stage now where I really want to give back, and I want to empower the next generation of entrepreneurs, and do it in ways that I know best, in the area that I'm confident in. And one area I'm very confident in is in branding. So I do coach young entrepreneurs on how to take control of the brand themselves, because not all of them can afford to work with larger agencies or even small agencies like ourselves. So that's one way I do it. Another way I do it is using my platform within EO. I've started these things called Breaking Barrier Dinners. So once a month, I actually host a dinner with entrepreneur members, and we talk about topics that are really uncomfortable, and making those uncomfortable conversations comfortable. Right. One particular topic we did very recently was around ikigai. So does anyone know what ikigai is? So ikigai is the concept around where you have a lot of you find your passion. Oh, okay. Right? what your purpose is, actually. It's around your purpose. Okay. Right? And a purpose can change over life, over time. It can. Right? So my purpose was, for the last 20 years, I would say my purpose is to make people smile. That's right. Everyone I interact with, I want to make them smile. If I've done that, I've had a great day. Yeah. But now it's evolved into, with everything that's going on in the world right now, and there's just so much hatred, so much war. My purpose now is trying to get people together to have conversations about their uniqueness, about their different cultures, their faith, their beliefs, and not be judged for it. Just be not even necessarily have to agree with them, but listen and understand from their perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of my purpose, is to create a world where we can all look beyond all this stuff about whether you're LGBTQ or BIPOC, or doesn't really matter, but we all bleed red, right? So
Right.
let's just see each other for the person that we are.
No, love the commitment.
Yeah.
I mean, your commitment really, to mentorship really illustrates the reciprocal nature of learning and growth, especially in the entrepreneurial ecosystem as well as in the community as well. But Parveen, what piece of advice do you consistently find yourself giving to aspiring entrepreneurs?
Advice. Never let anyone say you can't do this, right? We're going to fail. We're going to fail often, right? But we need to keep going, and eventually we're going to succeed, right? So my advice would be, follow your passion. If there's something you really want to do and you believe in, go for it.
Right.
Just go for it, right? I was listening to a podcast this morning, and it was someone gave a quote about Jeff Bezos that he had put in one of his investor letters, and it was about just keep batting for the fences, and eventually you're going to hit that home run. So just go for it.
That's beautiful. I mean, your personal philosophy of spreading happiness and positivity is so inspiring, and we love the energy in the room. But Parveen, how do you really ensure that your core values of positivity and appreciation are reflected in your professional endeavors?
So from a professional perspective, I have 3 core values that I live by, that I brought into my own organization of BTI, and those are to be curious, creative, and collaborative.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And those are the values that are part of BTI as well. So to ensure that BTI is living up to those values, every Monday morning we do what we call our level 10 meeting.
Yeah.
And collectively, the meeting starts off with everyone sharing what they did over the weekend, right? Just to get comfortable. And then sharing about how they lived up to one of the core values the previous week. So they can pick any one of the values and just share how they lived up to that value. So by them consistently sharing on a weekly basis, it just becomes natural. They're not just words that are on a wall or on a poster or on a website. They are something you live and breathe.
I mean, we love the approach, especially the approach where there's a good balance between life and business. That can also, it really highlights the critical role of how values can work in shaping, your personal endeavors as well as your organizational culture. As we prepare to wrap up today's enriching dialogue with Parveen Dhupar, let's carry with us the essence of today's conversation. The stories shared today are more than just narratives, they are a testament to the impact of leading with heart and vision. Whether you're at the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey or steering through the challenges of growth, remember that your story has this power to inspire, to transform, and to resonate. So before we wrap up, Parveen, what final thoughts or piece of advice would you like to share with our listeners, especially those that are navigating the complex world of entrepreneurship and brand building? Like, how do we keep this positive outlook that you have through challenging times?
Right. Well, I think from an entrepreneurship perspective and brand perspective. So let's talk about entrepreneurship perspective. As an entrepreneur, you're not alone, right? And I think finding your peer group is really important. I don't like to use the word shoulda, coulda, woulda, but I knew of EO 30 years ago, but I never really joined.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I always use the excuse of I'm too busy because of my family life and this and that. But I think we make time for things that matter for us, right? So find that peer group. It doesn't have to be EO. It could be EO, YPO, tech. There's so many peer groups out there. Find that group where you're going to get that mentorship and you're going to learn from other entrepreneurs. So that's something I tell every entrepreneur to do. Even at a startup stage, there are peer groups for them too. There's incubators and so on out there where they can learn from other entrepreneurs. From a branding perspective, so I said we do a lot of work with startup space as well. The number one mistake startups make is they fall in love too much with their idea,
Right.
right? And they're usually on it with blinders on, and they think that they know the audience they're going after. They think they know their story, but too often I've seen it where when we look at it, we see that there's another opportunity. There could be another audience. Those blinders need to be opened up.
Right.
So work with a consultant, a small agency to help you at least get your story right, get your audience right, get the starting point of the brand identity right. Once that's done, then it becomes a lot easier to execute anything else.
Parveen, thank you so much again for coming to the podcast, sharing your journey and your insights with us. I mean, your dedication into fostering meaningful brands and mentoring the next generation of entrepreneurs is really a beacon for inspiration for all of us. So again, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
In today's episode, we explored Parveen's entrepreneurial path, the evolution of BTI, the Transformative Voice Grant Program, and the enduring power of mentorship and positive values. These stories and insights offer invaluable lessons for anyone that is looking to make a mark in the world of business and beyond. We extend our gratitude to our partners, exclusive banking partner RBC, shipping partner UPS, exclusive accounting software partner Xero, and email partner Constant Contact. Remember to subscribe to the Canadian SME Small Business Magazine by visiting our official website, CanadianSME.ca, for more empowering stories and resources.